Hey guys, if you have any questions or comments, please put them down below and I'll try to answer them. Hey guys, today we're going to talk about lid switch problems. If you have a washing machine that's this one happens to be a State by Whirlpool, but it could be a Whirlpool, Kenmore, Crosley. Any of the ones that have the pull-out knob are basically made the same, but there were two types of lid switches. And what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to grab the lid switch real quick, is the one with this lid switch. And I'll put the link down in the description below, but it looks like this. If yours has this type of lid switch, that's yours. And how do you know if it has this? If you lift up the washer, and this one I'm working on, it looks horrible, and there's a hole on this side, this is not the lid switch that you need. If there is no hole and no way of knowing, like, how does it know the door is closed, it's going to be right here. This little bar goes in there and makes an angle up and lands inside of this lid switch. So let's look at that real quick. But if it's the ones over here, this is not the video for you. Only about half these washers have it. It's a newer compared to the old lid switch. Alright, there's two screws, a Phillips head here. I've already taken it up. And there's one on the opposite side. And if yours does not have these, it's going to have pressure push points right here. You'll just take a putty knife and push it underneath and release that pressure, and do on the same side. It's the same thing as these screws, but it's just more difficult, and they started doing that later on. But most of them have the screws in the back. From here you'll pull it forward a tiny bit. Same thing with the opposite side, and lift up and roll it up. The thing is, it's got hooks right here. That's why we're pulling it forward a little bit. Alright, from right here, now this lid switch I'm messing with currently, someone had cut the wires off and I'm having to hot wire it in. But normally it wouldn't look like this, the plug would look normal and not wired together. So there'll be a screw right here, I haven't replaced that yet, I've already taken it out. You take that off, you'll push this forward a little bit, and this is obviously with the washer unplugged, and lift the lid. The lid has to be up some for this to be able to release. And the reason is that it's pushing. There's a bar that's coming up right here, and it's in this groove, and it's holding it in place. Now, either this has gone bad, which this has gone bad, it's burned up, and it's going to be, this plug will be burned up, which is why I'm messing with this plug, or it's going to be a simple adjustment, which a lot of times it will just be the adjustment. Now I've got this one adjusted to the point where you can see with it why it needs adjusting. When I put the lid down, listen when I get really close to the end, there's a click right there. You can hear the click. There, right at the very end of when I drop it. So a lot of people will complain about how they have to push the drum or bang on a little bit. It's because this needs to be adjusted just a little bit, and I'll show you how to adjust it if that's your issue. If you're hearing no click and it doesn't look like this is melting, this plug that's going into it has gotten hot, then more than likely all you have to do is adjust it. So what we're going to do is take this off, put it up there out of the way, and now we have to take this frame off. To take the frame off, we're going to take either a flathead or a skinny Phillips and put it right there and lean this up, and it'll pop right off. And that's one side. Alright, we're going to do the same thing the other side. Put flathead there, lean this up, and I'll show you how to put these back in at the very end. And now we got both of these. Don't lose them, because it's very hard to make that work without those. From right here, I'm going to lean it forward just a tiny bit. I'm going to have it sit just like that. From here I have to drag it across just a little bit because it's stuck underneath a lip. Just like that. Now I can move it. Now you can get it up and out of the way. Alright, our problem is going to be right here. And it's this bar. So this bar is what lands inside of that lid switch. Alright, I'm going to put it back down. I'm going to grab the tool to show you how to adjust it, and I'll also show you what I mean. I'll put the lid switch back in it. Alright, so I'm going to put a new lid switch back in it, and you'll see why I'm saying you have to lift it up to get these lid switches out. If you look underneath, I can't put this lid switch in until I get that out of the way and push that down. Now this lands inside that groove, and you see I'm just put the lid all the way down. It's an inch away from being shut. It should be responding much earlier than that. So it means we have to adjust it. So with the lid down, you'll grab on. I'll lift up a little bit right there. I'll hold it firm and I'll lift the lid up a little bit, not much. Now I just slightly bent that. Now it's getting the close signal when the door is about 1.5 inches off instead of 1/4 of an inch away from closing, which is much better. All right, another reason this could be happening is if these screws that hold this in place have come loose, which these have not. But there's 2 Phillips screws right here and right here. If one is missing or one has come loose, it could do the exact same thing and just not let it push that lid switch hard enough. But now you'll see when it clicks, I'll tell you where it clicks. There. I can barely get my fingers underneath it and it's still registering as closed. But when I lift up a little bit more, that's released, and that would stop it from spinning, which is about right. Before it was right about there. It was right on the edge of not doing it at all. Which the result of that will be when it fills up with water, it will not go to spin cycle. It's a safety feature so kids don't jump in it or someone doesn't put their arm in it when it's spinning. All right, so we're done. Let's put it back together. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab onto the inside right here, and I'm going to direct it over both sides. And here's where the hard part comes in. Here's what's hard, what everyone screws up. This lip on the actual frame, which normally is white, it's very dirty, goes under the frame of the actual washer. So this I have to slide up underneath that. From here, the frame on the outside of the actual shell goes over the new frame of the outside of the washer. So this one goes over. As I'm coming down with this, there's a piece right here that if it's bent over, it will not let the receiver on the frame land in it. So if this is bent over, you need to straighten it back so it's facing straight up again. This happens a whole lot. All right, as I'm coming down, I also have to pull this frame forward some. So that it's all catching right. All right. There it is, and you may have to do it a little bit, just like that. Perfect. Down the side, if it's kind of winged out, you can definitely tell that's wrong. Both sides should be perfectly in and tight. From here, I'm going to take the 2 pieces we talked about before. This is the hardest part, is they go this way. They go just like this. I'm going to hook the back side in first. I'll pull this in and I'll push it down. And that's all you have to do. I'm going to do it again on the other side. I'll put that side in first, put that in that first hole, and then all you have to do is push it down and it's in place. From here you'll plug back in your lid switch, whether it's the one on, well, it's going to be definitely the one on this side. I'm currently working on this lid switch, so I'm going to just leave that there. Pretend I plugged that in back and push this back. Then we'll put that screw back down and this screw back down, and we are finished. That's and a lot of times it will be just needing an adjustment, but when you open this up and flip that lid up, you'll know right off the bat if it's burned up plug. If that plug will not come out easily, it's probably melted, and there's no fixing that. Just replace the lid switch. I'll put the link in the description below. I think lid switches are less than $10 on Amazon, so real cheap fix one way or another, even if it's just replacing and not having to adjust. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Any comments, put them down below. Please like and subscribe, it really helps the channel.